This Sunday is celebrated as All Saints' Day. No one is named in today's celebration. In fact, in many ways, this celebration is about those saints who would never make it into the Church's calendar of saints, those who never, ever caught the eye of the Church's hierarchy. We're celebrating a group of people who are not canonized saints, but rather celebrating those who have been and are faithful to God. Saints, known and unknown, come from all walks of life. They're comprised of both men and women, the noble and the lowly, and they're a truly diverse group of people. The reading set for All Saints in this year is the Beatitudes, which you'll find Matthew 5. And it's one of my favourite readings. This sermon of Jesus is known as the Beatitudes, the beautiful attitudes. And every attitude begins in the same way with the word blessed or blessed. The word blessed comes from the Greek word makarios, which was used to describe the gods, and Jesus used it to describe those who do God's will. The Greeks called Cyprus the Blessed Isle, or the Happy Isle, because it was such a fertile, rich land, blessed with a good climate, rich in minerals and natural resources, where fruit and grain and flowers grew in abundance, a place in which its inhabitants could be perfectly happy and contented, an island of peace and harmony. When Jesus tells of how people can live in peace and harmony with God, he does so in the beautiful and timeless words of his sermon, the Beatitudes, the blessings from God. Jesus uses the word blessed 9 times and in 3 groups. The word, as I've said, means happy, but also means much more, because it means not just being subject to fate or circumstance. To be blessed means to have an unperishable quality, to be a part of the eternal. God is eternal, and our blessedness, our happiness, can only come from God. And we show our blessedness by living as closely as we can to the way our God wants us to live. The first 3 blesseds are about our attitude to the world and all that surround us. The poor in spirit are those who are not selfish, those who give rather than take, the selfless. Those who mourn are people who experience loss in all its forms and have not become hard-hearted. They're still able to feel and empathise with others. And the meek, well, they're those who are gentle in their dealings with others. The middle group of blesseds are about relationships. To hunger and thirst for righteousness is to try to live in right relationships with people and to strive for justice. As for the merciful, they're those who do not constantly demand merely their own rights, but are understanding of the rights and needs of others, forgiving and kind. The pure in heart are those who seek to live God's way. The last group of blesseds deal with our position in a difficult world, those who seek peace and strive to bring balance to a world. The image of God is seen in them. And then there are those who endure persecution and those who fight against the persecution of others. Some over the centuries, as they still do today, lose their liberty or their lives in standing firm for their beliefs. These are qualities which make a saint. Saints are by no means perfect, but they try to live the life of the blessed. The Beatitudes offer us a glimmer of the kind of holy living that is celebrated on All Saints' Day. This way of living is about a commitment to bring peace, justice and equality to our world, to live in a way that almost at times seems to swim against the stream of much of today's attitudes and thinking. We perhaps think that saints belong to the past, but they're also very much with us today, and they will also play their part in the future of God's kingdom, because they're those who struggled and struggle and will struggle to put Christianity into practice. In the Celtic Church, a saint was a person who had been baptized. It was that simple. In baptism, you became a saint. So, if we were in the Celtic Church today, by their view, we're all saints. The known named saints of the Middle Ages were very much the celebrities of their day, complete with all the faults and the good points, the scandals and the achievements of celebrities today. It is not surprising that Fox's Book of Saints and Martyrs was a bestseller for years and years, for decades, for a few hundred years, just like the biographies of today's celebrities are filling the shelves for Christmases. And pilgrimages, I suppose, were almost like the music festivals of today. Is anything really that new? All Saints is a festival, an occasion to celebrate faith and hope. Our faith and hope in God, and also God's faith and hope in us. In other words, to be blessed. As I said last week, this does not mean that we know God, nor do we understand God, but rather we trust in God. Look into the face of someone you love, and no matter how well you think you know them, you never truly know them. Not absolutely truly know them, but you trust them, they're close to you, and they're almost a part of you. There are arguments, and at times there's anger and disappointment. But through the storms, there is always sunshine, as love and trust prevail. At All Saints, we're reminded of the faith and hope of all saints, whoever those saints may be. And there are many, many surprising saints, more than we will ever know. So are we, as the Celtic Church, believed all saints? In God's eyes, despite our faults, I think that perhaps we are. Well, let's all be saints and blessed, at least for today.